Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss what is a variable, what are the rules we need to follow for creating a variable, what are the various ways we can assign a value to the variable, what are the various inbuilt functions related to the variables. All these concepts I will discuss in detail for you. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. Let me define what is a variable. A variable is a name associated with some memory location. In a memory, we have various locations. Each location can be uniquely identified by an address. Now, as a human being, we cannot remember the address or the numbers as compared to the names. We can always remember the names, and it is very difficult for us to remember the number. Suppose if I ask you, tell your mother name, you can easily tell. But if I ask your mother is her date of birth or her phone number, you will face certain difficulties to recollect it. So I can say that as a human beings, we will easily remember the names. So we always give the names instead of the address. Suppose let me tell you a simple example. I think everyone know that if you want to connect with any server in the internet, you need the IP address. Let's take that you are using the IP address version 4. Then you need a 32-bit address to connect with a server. Suppose let's say that you are writing www.gmail.com, meaning is that you are sending the request to the Gmail server. Then why you are giving the URL? Why can't you give the directly the Gmail server IP address? Because it is very difficult for us to remember the 32-bit IP address. Instead of that one, we can remember the names. So that's why as a end users, we will give the URL. That URL will be converted into an IP address using the DNS. Similarly, in memory also we will have various locations. Each location can be uniquely identified with an address. That address is a number. Instead of remembering that address, we will assign a name to that memory location. If you want to store anything to that memory location, you will assign the value to that variable. A variable is a name associated with some memory location to store data of different types. Our programming language is dynamically typed language. Usually we'll have two types languages. One is statically typed programming language, another one is dynamically typed programming language. First let me discuss the statically typed programming language, then you will understand about dynamically typed programming language. If you look at the C, C++, Java, they all are statically typed programming language. If you want to declare any variable, you need to specify the data type and then variable name. Now if I want to create one integer variable, I need to specify the data type as int and then I can write a, where a is the name of the variable. Now what is the significance? In the variable a, you can able to store only integer literals. Similarly, if I write float, variable name is b, in the variable b, you can able to store only real literals. So that is the significance of data type in the statically typed programming language. If you look at the R and Python, they are dynamically typed programming language. What is the meaning of dynamically typed programming language? Means you no need to specify the data type when you are defining a variable. Usually we will not declare the variable in dynamically typed programming language. Suppose if I want to assign a value to the variable, I can simply write variable name is equal to some value. Now here I am not declaring the variable, I am just defining it. So based on what value you are storing, that will be the type of this variable. If you are assigning some integer literal, then type of this variable will be an integer. If you are storing some complex number, then it will be a complex. If you are storing a boolean value, then it will be a boolean. So based on what value you are assigning, that will specify the type of this variable. I hope you have understood what is the difference between the statically typed programming language and dynamically typed programming language. As I said earlier, our programming language is dynamically typed programming language. So you no need to declare the variable, you can just define the variable. Now let me discuss what are the rules we need to follow for providing a name to the variable. The first rule is that it is a combination of alphabets, digits, period symbol and underscore. So you can use a combination of alphabets from small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, digits from 0 to 9, and only two special symbols are allowed. One is a period symbol, or I can say it is a dot symbol, and underscore. So other than the period symbol and underscore, no other special characters are allowed. Like you have various special characters like dollar, okay, hash, at the rate, not, star. All the special operators are not allowed when you are providing the name to the variable. Only two special symbols such as period and underscore is allowed. Any variable should not start with a digit or underscore. You cannot start any variable name with a digit, like either from 0 to 9, any digit and underscore. However, it can start with the period symbol or the dot symbol. After the dot symbol, it cannot be a number. So it can start with a period symbol but not followed by any digit, and it is a case sensitive. What is meant by case sensitive? Suppose if you provide a variable as small a and a capital A, both are different. Suppose if you specify a name of the variable is Ravi, and another variable name you have provided Ravi, and another variable name you have provided capital R AVI. All these three are three different variables because it is a case sensitive. We already discussed about the keywords. Keywords are the reserved words which has a specified meaning. So those keywords you cannot use as a variable. Let me discuss all these rules practically with an example so that it will be clear for you. Let me open the RStudio. If you want to open the RStudio, you need to click RStudio app. Let me click on the RStudio app. Now you can see the RStudio app is opened. Now you can find 4 panels in it. The first panel is the source one. So I can say that this panel is the upper left panel, which is a source panel. In the source panel, you can write a R program, you can save it and you can execute it. And the next panel you can see is the bottom left one, which is a console. In this console, you can see the results of the code you have executed. And then you can see the environment panel, which is there at the upper right. What are the variables you have used in the program? All the variables will be available in this environment panel. And you can see the bottom right, we have various tabs like help tab, and you have the packages tab. All these tabs provides the information related to the R programming. I hope you have understood about all these panels. One is the source panel, console panel, environment panel, and then this help, packages, files, plots, viewer, presentation, these tabs. Sometimes you cannot find the source panel. If you cannot find the source panel, you can go to the file, new file, and then click on the R script. Then you can find the source panel. Now what I will do, I will create a variable. Let me write the variable name as X and assign the value 10. Let me zoom it little bit, and then I will write print X to display the value which is there in the variable X. If you want to run the code, you can select what are the lines you want to run and then click on this run. Now you can see the output as 10 in the console tab. So you can use the variable name as x. What is the rule number 2 I have told? You cannot use any special symbols other than dot and the underscore. Let me use the special symbol called dollar, and I will assign the value as 100, and then I will write print x and then dollar. Let me save it, and let me keep the name of the file as variable example, and it is saved as .r. Let me save it, and let me select this code and run it for you. Now you can see we got an error, unexpected assignment operator in the x dollar. Let's see, can we use the underscore? As I said earlier, you can use the period symbol and the underscore. Let me save this code and run it for you. We got the output as 100. So you can use the special symbol underscore. Let me use the dot. Let me save this code and let me run it for you. We got the output as 100. So period symbol and underscore only you can use. No other special characters are allowed. And the next rule, I said that you should not start with a digit or underscore. Let me provide a digit as 1. And now you can verify we got an error, unexpected symbol in 1x dot. And similarly, I said that you cannot start with a underscore. Instead of a digit here, let me provide the underscore. Let me save this code and let me run it for you. Again we got an error called unexpected symbol. And I said that you can start with a period symbol but not followed with a digit. Let me provide the period symbol here or the dot, and let me save the code and run it for you. We got the output as 100. So you cannot start with a digit and underscore. However, you can start with a period symbol. But I said that if you start with a period symbol, it should not followed by a digit. Means after the dot symbol or the period symbol, you cannot be a number. Suppose if I give a digit 1, then you can verify. Let me save this code and run it for you. You got an error. So it can start with a period symbol but not followed by a digit. And I said earlier, it is a case sensitive. Suppose let me provide the variable name as Ravi and assign value 10. Again, if you take the variable Ravi and assign value 20, then if you print the value which is there in the variable Ravi, obviously you will get the 20. If you want to verify, you can see, because in the variable Ravi you have assigned the value 10. Later you have assigned the value 20. Now which value will be there in the variable Ravi? 20. So that's why if I am displaying the value which is there in the variable Ravi, we are getting the output as 20. Now I will make this as capital R. Now both are two different variables. If I write print Ravi and print Ravi, I will get 10 and 20. If you want to verify, let me run it. See, we got the output here 10 and 20. So now this Ravi and this Ravi, for us it will be similar, but coming to the R programming, these two are two different variables. And I said that you cannot use keywords as a variables. Let me use the keyword if, and then let me write here as if. If is one of the keyword. Now keyword, you cannot use it as a variable. Let me run this code. You got an error. So these are the rules you need to follow for creating a variable. R programming language supports three ways of assigning a value to the variable. One is using the equal operator, and the next one is leftward operator and rightward operator. So you can assign a value to the variable in three ways. One is using the equal operator, and the second way is using the leftward operator, and the next one is using the rightward operator. Already we have discussed how can we assign a value to the variable using the equal operator. So you will give the variable name is equal to value. If you assign a value, that value will be stored in the variable. If you want to display the value, you can use the print and then provide the name of the variable. And the next way is you can assign the value to the variable using the leftward operator. So you can provide the variable name and then you can provide the leftward operator and then you can provide the value. So like this also you can assign the value to the variable. Now let me discuss how can you assign the value to the variable using the rightward operator. So you need to provide the value and then you need to provide the rightward operator and then you need to specify the name of the variable. So these are the three ways you can assign the value to the variable in R programming language. Let me discuss all this one practically with an example. Let me provide x is equal to 10. So now for the variable x, I have assigned the value 10 using the equal operator. Let me take the variable y and then I will use the leftward operator and assign the value 20. To the variable z, I want to assign the value 30 using the rightward operator. So first I need to provide the value 30 and then need to provide the variable z. If I write print x, print y and then print z, you will get the output as 10, 20, 30. If you want to verify, let me save this code and run it for you. See, as I said earlier, when you have written print x, you got the output as 10, print y means 20, print z means 30. So in the variable x, you have the value 10, in the variable y, you have the value 20, in the variable z, you have the value 30. So these are the three ways you can assign the value to the variable in R. Now let me discuss the few inbuilt functions related to the variable. The first one is the class function. This function is an inbuilt function. We have two types of functions. One is the inbuilt functions and the user defined functions. If it is an inbuilt function, then already the developers have defined the function. We can just call it and use it for our purpose. If it is a user defined function, we need to define the function and then we need to call it. Now class is a built-in function used to determine the data type of the variable provided in it. Now look at here. We have provided x is equal to 10 and then if you want to provide the data type, means what kind of value is stored in the variable x, you can use the class function. So you can write print class, inside that one you can provide the name of the variable. Now if I save this code and run it for you, you can see we got the output as here numeric. So x is storing a numeric type of values. Similarly, we have the ls function. This is also a built-in function used to know all the present variables in the workspace. In the workspace, what are the variables you have provided? All the variables, if you want to display, you can use the ls function. Then you can ask me, sir, what is the use of displaying all the variables which is available in the workspace? Is it will be helpful to prevent overwriting any of them. You have various variables. Suppose let's take that x is equal to 10 you have assigned. Later if you write again x is equal to 20, then whatever the earlier value which is 10 will be overwritten by the 20. You don't want to do it. You want to keep the x value as 10 only. Then you should know, right, already you have defined a variable x. Then you can use the ls function. So the ls function is a built-in function used to know all the present variables in the workspace. If you want to verify it, let me write print ls. Let me save the code and let me run it for you. Now you can see Ravi x dot x underscore y z, all these variables you have written in this environment and you can verify the values to that one. For Ravi you have assigned the value 10, capital Ravi you have assigned 20, x 10, x underscore 100, x dot 100, y 20, z 30. So these are the variables you have defined. So all these variables are there in the workspace. Now let me discuss about the rm function. The rm function is also a inbuilt function. What is the use of this function is, if you want to delete any unwanted variable, that you can do with the help of the rm function. Then you can ask me, why should I delete a variable? As I said earlier, A variable is a name associated with some memory location. So if you define a variable, some memory space will be allocated for it. So if you are not using that variable, or if you don't want that variable in the program, you should delete it. So whatever the memory has been allocated, that memory will be deallocated. So the rm is a built-in function used to delete an unwanted variable within your workspace. This helps to clear the memory allocated to the variable. Let me discuss this rm function with an example. Let's take that I don't want to have the variable z. Then I can write rm z. If I try to display the value which is there in the variable z, now you have already deleted, so the memory will be deallocated. If you again try to display the value which is there in the variable z, you can get an error. What is that error? Object z not found. So this is the way you can delete the variable or deallocate the memory which is assigned to the variable. I hope you have understood all the concepts which I have discussed in this video. If you still have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.